hello again. I'm not on a walk. I'm in my front garden. There's a reason I'm in my front garden. So this is not going to be a hiking, walking, things like that. And I don't usually do sort of reviewy type stuff, but I'm doing a kind of a thing now. The reason I'm in my front garden is we have a dog, and in the back garden, even after clearing up, it can be a bit messy out there. Not terrible or anything, but I just didn't want to do what I wanted to do today in my back garden. My front garden's lovely, and so it's going to be interesting because there's going to be the odd car coming past. It's quite quiet here. It's about 7 o'clock, so it's cooling down a bit, so I've got a jumper with me in case it gets cold. But what I'm going to do is set up my new toy. I say my new toy. I've got another tent, so I've been using the OEX Bobcat, which has been amazing as a one-person tent, but I want the opportunity to go out with my wife and occasionally go out and have a bit more space as well myself. And so I've got a new tent. So I've got it down here. But it's this. It's the Lanshan 2. It's not the Pro model or anything, just the Lanshan 2, but it is the 4-season. So this will have rather than the mesh, it'll be inside on the inner tent. It's going to be solid. I'm just hoping this camera stays upright, but we're going to be moving it closer in a bit anyway. But I've got this, but I've also got a few bits to do some modding on it even before I take it out. Once I've got this tent, I should say, from Outdoor Gear Essentials, and they've been brilliant because a lot of places, I say a lot, some places don't deliver to the Isle of Man, which is where I live. I didn't do the introduction properly, did I either? You know, I'm not going to edit this out, but I am the Reverend Simon Archer, the Vicar of Arbury and Castletown, also known as the Isle of Man Vicar. But anyway, let's have a look at this. So this is the Lanshan 2. So small, light, but 4 seasons, so perhaps a little bit heavier. I'm not going to go through specs. There's so many videos showing this and the weights and things like that, and just a few grams here and there. But it's just over 1 kilo. So it's the lightest tent I've got now. I haven't got like hundreds of tents or anything, but it's going to be the lightest tent I've got. And it's a trekking pole tent. So I've got trekking poles I've had for a while. And I kind of want to start using them a bit more because I have some issues with my knees, and that's a good thing to kind of use trekking poles. There will be people walking past. It's going to feel a bit weird, I must say, but we're going to try this. So that is the Lanshan 2. And I'm going to bring you down here because I'm going to run you through some of the bits and bobs that I've got with this. But Outdoor Gear Essentials, really helped me out because they didn't show, the addresses in the Isle of Man didn't show up on Outdoor Gear Essentials website. So when I tried to order one, it just went, nope, this address isn't recognised. And so I just dropped them a message on a Sunday afternoon, and they got back to me pretty quickly. And that's Cole, C-O-L, Cole from Outdoor Gear Essentials. Got back and said, let me look into it. A little while later, done some work on the back, quite a bit of work on the back end. You can now order, and I did. So I've got this. Thank you for sending that through to me. It's not sponsored. This isn't a sponsored video or anything like that. I've paid for everything in it. I haven't got any sponsors at the moment. I've turned down a couple of bits actually because they just weren't really in my ballpark. But yeah, so Outdoor Gear Essentials. Now you can order, if you're on the Isle of Man, you can now order from Outdoor Gear Essentials and get your whatever. And they've got it's a website which has got all my favourite sorts of stuff on it, stuff I talk about all the time. And that says to me that the people who are selling the gear there are also wild campers and hikers, because they've picked out the kind of good stuff, you know. So literally I could spend a fortune on the website because there is so much gear that I like. They keep the Nalgene bottles in, the small bottles, the big bottles. They keep the kind of stoves that I like. They keep a lot of that stuff in. So yeah, so we're going to get close. I'm going to show you all the bits that I ordered and the bits that I've got separately. And hopefully what I can do is pitch the tent, put it up the way it's meant to be put up, and then go around and make all the adjustments and changes, the modifications to make this a kind of real ultimate outdoor tent, lightweight, particularly on the Isle of Man where I wanted something which would stand up to the wind. And these aren't particularly known for standing up to wind, but I think with the mods in place, I think it's going to be a bit sturdier and a bit better. So we'll have a look at that. But yeah, that's we do the head sizes, don't we? So that's it. It's about the size of my head, and just over 1 kilo in weight. So pretty good. But trekking poles you need with it as well, which I've got. Let's have a look closer at some of the bits that I've got. So yeah, first of all, I've got the tent itself. So you can see that there. I've got from them, I've got the ground sheet. because it's quite a thin bottom. You know, it's just sensible to get a ground sheet, and we might need to mod that as well. I'm not sure. The only thing I'd say is that with the kit you get from Outdoor Gear Essentials, to kind of, they've got a modding kit which is in here. It's great, but it doesn't tell you exactly how to do the mods. Not that I've seen on any of their videos, so this might help some people, I don't know. That's got some shock cord, which is kind of elasticated cord, and some extra pegs. So I've got in here, I've got some various lengths of shock cord, which I believe go on the bathtub, which is the bottom part of the inner. I've got some dyneema lines, so some extra lines which will go on the sides. And I've got 6 extra pegs. So that's the kit. There's a knife down there, but that's what I just used to cut everything. So that ground sheet. Then I've got some rings. I've probably got the rings too heavy, but they're going to be blooming solid. 316 stainless steel rings. Yeah, I probably could have gone lighter with that, to be honest with you, but they are one piece, so they're not going to break. Well, they're going to last, that's for sure. And then they're probably a couple of grams, a few grams actually, so, but heavier than I meant to get, but I wasn't sure of the sizing. So I've got a couple of rings. I've got, they've just flown everywhere. I've got some of these, which are these, I think they're called, they're guy line, they're for the guy lines, but they're snails, I think some people call them. Snail head start, you can see what I mean. But if you guy adjusters or whatever, guy line adjusters, these are the kind of ones that have been recommended. Really lightweight, but just a lot more solid than the sort of plastic ones that you can get. And they've all fallen out of the bag, so that's good. So I'm going to replace some of the plastic with these metal ones, which should make them a bit stronger as well. But I've not used them before, so they're going to be interesting. And I've also got some more shock cord, because I'm going to do something with the doors. In that I'm going to take off the kind of plastic hooks for the doors that leave the door quite high up. Got to watch the ventilation, but it's always windy here on the Isle of Man, so I don't think that's too much of an issue. There's always quite a lot of ventilation going on. And I've got my hiking poles. So these are some Trail Buddies. Really good reviews on Amazon. Lots of kind of other people kind of reviewing these and saying for the money you can't go too bad with them. I think they're about 20, 25, maybe £30 maximum. But they're so solid, and although they're probably not the lightest, you can get all these carbon poles and things like that. They are seriously, it'd be great if I snapped it now, but seriously strong. And I thought, as I'm going to be using them with the trekking pole tent, that I should get something that was stronger. So I've got poles, I've got tent, I've got my extra kit. I've got these, doesn't even say on them, but snail style, what are they called? These are Tri-Wonder aluminium guy line tensioner. It's sold on eBay, clearly got from China or made in China. Ground sheet, these metal rings, and some extra shock cord. Again, I've seen lots of people showing mods, but perhaps not doing it and actually putting it together. I do have some got some of the sealant to go along some of the edges, so seam sealer. I'm not, probably this time of day, 7 o'clock, I might set it up again tomorrow and do some sealing tomorrow. I just didn't want to kind of start doing seam sealing this time of night. It needs sometimes between 6 and 48 hours to go off. It's probably warm enough that I could probably do it tomorrow. I didn't really want to be starting to leave it out here overnight, but we're going to give it a go. Why not? We're going to see if we can put this together. So you'll be able to hear me. I'm going to set the camera up so it can watch me from a bit of a distance, if you like, and you can watch me put this up, and maybe I'll speed it up as I'll put it up for the first time, see if I can work it all out, and then we'll start working on the mods. So here we go. First time getting this out of the bag. Ow. It's got a compression sack, which seems very silky. Again, materials wise, go to the website, go to outdoorgearsessential.com, I believe it is. That's kind of the best place to have a look at the bits and bobs about this. Comes with a tie, which I'm no doubt going to lose straight away. We'll put that back in the bag. No particular instructions. Awesome. I'll put those on there for now. So yeah, not tried this before. That'll be the poles that comes. Looks like there's some instructions in the bag. I have watched quite a few videos, so should actually go up in one, I think. It should go. Ground sheet first. Quite pleased actually. This ground sheet's actually got its own little bag. Didn't think it had. I thought that was the actual ground sheet I could see. It's got its own bag. Again, I'm putting all the bags away. It does get a bit breezy here. It's not going to go far. But we'll. So this is one of the things. I think the ground sheet has hard tyres on it. I think that's one of the ones where they put the bungees in, the pre-cut bungees. Now I don't know if the ground sheet needs the short or the longer shock cord, I should say, like bungee cord. But we'll have a look and we'll see if we can work it out. I've already bent the peg. That's all right. Stonier under here than I thought it was going to be. So my idea is that I kind of set it up, if you like, traditional, and then I do the mods afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Just you could. Stretch this too much and just keep stretching it otherwise. So it's a bit skew-iff, but it's fine. Then I'm guessing same cord on it. Okay. Does this go on here? Maybe. All right. So we've got those corners in, the bathtub. So does this go up now? What have I seen before? Do you put these? So I do know these need to go to 120, so this is the tracking poles. Is it still tracking me? No, probably not. Okay. So these tracking poles need to go to 120. They've got measurements. Most tracking poles will have like a measurement on them. And it's both parts of the pole that have the measurement. So you put them both to 120, and that's what makes the stick 120. Pretty sure that this, at this point in time, would hook onto there. He says that'd be 3 onto one pole. Let's try that. And then I think one of the big mods is actually to separate out, put bungees on these, shock cord, and then these go onto their own separate peg, so that you haven't got the, he says, well, they might still go under the same peg. Well, we'll work it out. Does seem a lot having 3 straps going onto one peg, 3 sort of anchor points, but we're just trying this out. We'll see. And there's always YouTube, because the great thing is all I do is watch YouTube, and it tells me everything I need to know, really. So right, this needs to go 120. If I can show you on these, but kind of goes, put it into my face, I don't know. But yeah, it kind of says 120 on it. Just got a glimpse of it. My main fears have been like, how will the poles hold? Will they collapse? I think it's more that sort of movement that causes the issues. Right, let's move the camera around. So, where I've seen it is people unzip here, and then what they do is there's like a little pocket, is there? Almost not sure. I'm guessing that's it. Right, let's go. And then there's like a bungee cord at the bottom here. That's good. And now, I'm just going to go around the other side. Oh, this has got the metal. Ooh, actually got upgraded. I don't know if it's picking me up now again. It's got the upgraded hooks. They're not plastic anymore. These are metal. That's cool. Makes me not want to quite do all the mods. So one of the issues these tents had, first of all, was that they had these plastic hooks for the doors, and the plastic hooks would break. And so there's a whole thing where people would buy these metal ones. Oh no, that's feels a bit different. Oh, there's the loop. So there is a loop there. The peg goes into. Okay. Loop's a bit small. I'm not sure that is even just about going there. Okay. So that would be kind of there. And then your door would as such go here. That's not quite in the right place. So we're going to do that loop. We're going to make some adjustments. What I'm just going to do here is, hopefully, he says, is I'm going to hook that onto the doors the way it's kind of meant to be from the factory. And then rather than have a loop there which is fixed in one spot, I'm just going to get this, and then when I feel it's in the right kind of a okay position, I'm just going to turn it, twist the peg. It's not quite what I wanted. And then we'll give that a go on both of these. I'll try the same with the back. So then you'd start adjusting things. So kind of basic shapes there. You can see how high it is off the floor at the front. So you can also see why people do the pegging the doors to the ground and kind of spread it out a bit more. I think that makes sense. There's definitely some tensioning to do and things like that, but that's all right, that's fine. But strictly speaking, he says, oh, I've got a load more pegs in here. Yeah, so there should be at least, came with 6 pegs. And it's just got another more lines. Oh, it's like, is that a spare line? Might be a spare line. Like a, so with the 10, I forgot that it came with its own pegs as well. So it's got some cool little spirally pegs in there. So, but it might be that these are just slightly bigger, deeper pegs, which makes sense. I can't see why you would need, apart from having some pegs to peg down the door. That's the mod that I'm going to make. So I've got the shock cords and the dyneema line for the sides. So let's start. So look, let's take this off here for a second and give you a little tour. So I haven't tightened it up. I haven't made it the best pitch yet. I haven't, done anything much to it at the moment to make it better. But there's definitely some things that could make it better. There's some line points on the side there, which I'm going to attach the lines that came with the mod kit. Yeah, so at the moment it looks a bit loose and flappy, but I'm thinking once we get this other stuff done, it's going to be okay. So yeah, so this is kind of it as it comes, if you like. And the way it works is down here on the door, they've got that hooks onto a guy line there. But I guess if I haven't tied that on at the hook, as soon as I undo this door, the whole thing's going to come loose. But we're going to be changing a lot of that anyway. Potentially cutting that bit off, which I'm going to go, oh, new tent, and I'm cutting bits off it already. Okay, well that should actually hold it, even on one side. I don't undo both. So I'm trying to undo that with one finger. Yeah, these were plastic before, these bits here. So that's kind of new. And then inside the tent, it's all right. I don't know about palace. Some people go, oh, it's huge, it's a palace, but it's all right, you know. Yeah. So now we start some of the mods. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach this stuff which comes part of the kit, which is a dyneema line, very thin, but apparently very strong line. And this is less of a mod, more of an optional extra anyway. So you can you've already got the points on here to do this, so it just makes sense. And that we can do. It's already got a little loop on it. What I'll do is I'll just pass the loop through there and then pass the rest of the line through. And the idea of this, some people add like a pole to raise up so it's more like this, but I haven't, so I'm just going to do this bit here. Just put it out as far as I can, and you'll see from the tension of the tent. So you can see now it's pulled that quite a way out. I'm going to do the same the other side. So I was a bit worried that it had been set up wrong, but it hasn't. So we're just going to, again, another line here, the line locks on it. They also sell some ground anchors, which are like very clever pegs, quite big, again a bit more bulky and heavy, but not particularly, to do the main ridge lines with, sort of the kind of the main front and back going out points. So we'll have a look at those and probably pick some up. Right, so that's the first mod attached, and just to kind of give you an idea, so that pulls that out. You can barely see the line, but I'd probably swap around pegs and use different ones for these parts. Use the smaller pegs for the ground sheet, and that's just tied on there. And potentially I need to do the seam seal around those going out points. So yeah, has it helped it? Probably doesn't look that great at the moment, but it's a process, so I think we'll get there. Okay, so I've got some of these pre-cut. He says they're all different lengths, and they're not, they're the same. Okay, that's fine. I don't think they're any difference in length. Let me get them all to the same length here, see if we've got 4 short and 4 long. They're all identical. Okay, that takes a lot of thinking out of this now. So what we're going to do is just going to release this one. I hope that the oh, got a bag that's running away. Go in there. That is some patches. I can't remember where that was from. It's only for the bathtub, I believe. I don't think you can use anything else. Okay, so what we're going to do is under here you'll see I've got a bathtub and ground sheet. So the idea being that we will take those off. and hopefully you're seeing this. Let's see if I can bring this around. I'll bring you in as close as I can. I could zoom in as well, but let's have a look so you can hopefully see what's going on here. So what I'm going to do is undo this. Not too much tension's been put on so far, so there we go, one loop. And second. Then what we're going to do is we're going to thread one of these lines through here. Various different knots you can do, but the easiest one to do here would be to just bring them over. They've already been melted at the end, if you like, so they shouldn't fray. Someone's going to probably come in the chat and say you should have used a 7-leaf clover half hitch on that one, and otherwise it's going to come apart. But once you get it tight, that, because it looks like it's going to take a, there you go. So we've got a cable, we've got one on here, so that's some shock cord, bungee cord on there. I will say I watched Cole's video on Outdoor Gear Essentials on him setting up one which had already had mods on it, and he's really clear. Although they sell the kit, he does say, look, you can buy this line, you can do it yourself, you can cut it to length. If you want it all done and pre-cut for you, then we do a kit. And for me, I've just felt like it's a simple way of doing it. So now we've got that. I'll make sure that's tight. The loops are tight. So now we should be able to just go get those, one peg, boom. And the benefit of that is, you imagine moving about inside the tent. You'd be that. You move inside the tent, you could pull the fly sheet off. What I'm going to do here is I'll just bring you around so you can see. So this is now separate, and I'll use one of my separate pegs that I've got to peg this up. Doesn't have to be too much because I'm going to be taking this up in a bit. It's not staying overnight. I'm not going to tension these much either, so these can be as loose as they like really at the moment while I'm doing this. So yeah, so that gives you an idea of that one. I'm actually not going to record doing the other three because you've kind of seen it once now, so I think you get an idea what we're doing first with this kit. So I'll come back to you in a sec once I've done the other three. Right, so this is my next bit. It's going to be interesting because this is going to be a bit of guesswork in here. I'm going to change these, which were hooked onto the kind of horned metal clip that's part of the one guy line. And the idea is that instead of being pulled out like that, they're pulled down like that, making it, and where it sees it gets loose at the sides there, well, I can make adjustments. So I should be able to adjust some other stuff to make that a little bit better. But this is generally just to kind of, it'll probably lower it about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, but it's still going to make a difference. So we're going to have a look at that. I've got some cordage, and we're going to have a bit of a guess. I've got plenty of it, and I will do some melting the ends in a bit once I've kind of got to a point where I think I've got it right. So what you don't want it as long as it's going to be to reach the ground. You kind of want it a bit shorter. So I feel like I need it to hit the ground sort of there, if you like. I need a bit shorter because it needs to be under tension to give it that pull. So I reckon I need, that's going to be where I want it. And then what I want to do is take that point, and you know, I could measure this, But then what I want to do is then take, kind of pull that through a little bit, maybe an inch or an inch and a half, so that actually for it to reach where I wanted it, it needs to pull a little bit, so there's a bit of tension. We're going to try there. I know it's could use a knife. Let's cut this, but that's what I'll be using out. There's the more a knife, incredibly sharp, goes straight back in the sheath. So we're going to try this. I will melt that at some point very soon. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these off. We'll take one off, and then we're going to see where we are once we've taken that off. And hopefully we'll only need sort of, we'll put one on and then see if that's where we want it. Oh no, actually I've got plenty of it. Let's cut the other piece so it's exactly the same length. I feel like I want to melt them now so they don't fray. I suppose I'd rather make them longer than shorter, because obviously you can cut it down a bit more, but you can't make it longer afterwards, apart from by stretching it. So I've just gone and got my lighter. Plus I was interrupted by my loud son and his loud friends anyway. So let's get these sorted out. This is an arc kind of lighter, which I think just, it's quite good. It'll just take some of these ends off, and then we'll probably better to put against something hot rather than do it like this, but we're just trying to, the smell of burning rubber. Should be okay. Yeah, so we're just making sure we haven't got, see already that one's going seriously fluffy, so the right thing to do. Otherwise, if I don't do it straight away, these are gonna, yeah, the outer covering is just gonna come off. Right, I'll give them a moment just to cool down. Yeah, let's see where we are with this then. I'll take the other. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is I've watched loads of Lanshan videos, and they're really nicely put together, and they probably look way more cinematic, really interesting, much better reviews and all the rest of that. But I like to see the detail. Like, that's great that you say you put those loops on, but how long did you make them, and how did you do this? How did you put it together? Because otherwise I'm kind of like, so I do my walks the same way. It's like all very nice going for a walk, but if you miss half the walk because it's all kind of edited. So they've got no string on them now. We're going to try one of these through here, and we're going to tie it just as we did the others, just like a little loop knot between the two. And then the important thing with these ones is then you just kind of pull it, because they're rubber, they're just going to tighten up and get ridiculously tight. And then that, he says, get a peg out, Simon. That should give us, it might be too long, but we'll see. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put masses of tension on there, because I'm guessing that the wind might blow that and pull it around quite a lot. But you can always peg it out tighter or shorten that just by tying the knot a bit shorter. But we'll give this a go like this for now, and then we can always make adjustments when we're out to actually camping. But the point is that we'll maintain the tension and should make it easier to do some mods up higher when we're trying to work on the tension of the ridge of the tent. with the metal rings that I showed earlier. So why am I making this so hard? This is really easy. Here we go. So we do that, and actually I shouldn't have done that yet. Yeah, so that would be like that. There we go, we've got two. They're quite long and they've got quite a bit of give in them. So they might need, because that will stretch a bit further. So I'm gonna take this one off because I want to measure the other pieces. But what I might do is tie a knot a little bit further down. See, this is how difficult they are to undo. I only just tied it. Come on, there we go. There's one over. There we go. Right, so I need to cut another couple of pieces. We have got a bit looser in certain places. That's all right though, but I've got my two bits. So again, I'm not going to show you me putting the other ones on the other end. I'm just going to quickly do that. So we've got some cables on there, or bungee shock cord, whatever you want to call it, and some at the other end as well. So we've got some down there. So they're cut to length, and we're kind of there or thereabouts, giving it a slightly lower front door. So that's not so bad. Is it looking good? Yeah, it's looking a bit baggy in places, but that's fine. It's to be expected. We haven't done the kind of last bit of fettling and stuff. Right, okay, next bit. We want to work on these guy lines. And let's see if I can make this work. So we've got this in frame now because what I'm going to do is make some adjustments. The door should actually hold the tent up, which it has done. So I've actually taken the main guy off. Again, this is going to be some guesswork, but what we're going to do first of all is we're going to take this guy off. And the easiest way to do that would be to undo this knot and make sure it goes back in the same place so I know where it's meant to go. That's the only thing with these. Actually, we can take this whole thing off because I am going to replace some of the guy ties for metal ones, although these are nice glow in the dark sort of plastic things. I'm going to change them out. So that's one, because this is the main one, and the other end, which has got that kind of horned hook for the doors, which we're not going to use. It is actually quite awkward to get them undone and do them up one-handed, particularly if your hands are cold or you're wearing gloves. So this hopefully will help with a lot of that as well. We shall see. So I've just undone that, taken those off. I'll keep hold of all of this is spares, you know, all of these clips and bits and stuff. It wouldn't be that difficult to put it back to how it was, if I'm honest. So if it really didn't work out. Now what I'm thinking is I've now got a spare guy line and this guy rope. So I've got just some line, and I've got the spare guy line that comes with the tent. So I've got that. Again, these can be replaced later on if need be. And what I'm going to do is, I think, let's have a look, is if I was to put this in half, really easy way to do it, just fold the piece of line in half. That's my halfway point. Now, if I was to cut this in two, would that be about the right length? So I'd tie one there, one there. I think that would be almost perfect. So we're going to do that. And we're going to take one of these metal rings. Say it's quite heavy. I really think it might be a little bit too heavy, but we're going to take that and then we're going to attach one end of this to the top. Actually, we could do the loop. So we'll do it like this. I did used to be a scout, you know. I should actually know what I'm doing here. But got a little loop, and just won't make no difference. I need to tie at the bottom anyway. But yeah, well, this is just silly. Rethinking myself. But this is the point when this is all new to me. And like I say, a problem with a lot of the videos is they tell you they've made these mods, but they don't really tell you exactly how they've done it. So hopefully this might help a few people thinking about modding their Lanshan too. I did go for the pro. I don't know, I can't remember why. There were some reasons. I was like, I had a look at some of the pro stuff, and I think it was pro was more about reducing weight. Now, although this is light and it's designed for ultralight sort of camping, I kind of felt like that wasn't particularly the reason I was doing this. I wasn't looking for the ultimate light tent. I was looking for, that should tie straight there. There we go. I was actually looking for something reasonably light for really stupid reasons, and that is that I want to be able to carry some other luxuries with me. I wanted something that was a two-person, but I quite liked taking some nice items with me that I and carrying a big heavy tent and my luxury items like my chair and stuff like that was just a bit much. So that's on there good now. So now you see we've got, let's see if we can see that. So we've got a ring on a line, and what that's going to do is hopefully that's going to give us, let's see if we can pull that out a bit, like a line that will move up and down and still keep the tension between the 2 points. Already I can see that's going to make a massive difference. So we're there. I just need to attach the actual guy line. So this is the spare guy that we're going to use for this bit. I had to steal a peg from my Bobcat as well, but that's easily going to be replaced. And actually, I think I worked it out that I will have plenty of time to replace it. What did I think? Oh, there was another thing as well. Oh yeah, I was going to get those like ground anchors from probably next month from Outdoor Gear Essentials. They do these really strong ground anchors that I'm going to generally try and use for the ridges to give it that real strength across the top. And we're going to replace some of these plastic components, even though they're perfectly fine. But these are all about the lightweight. But it's already going to be incredibly lightweight for me to use anyway. You're right, it's going to be up to like 5 kilos once I've done attaching stuff to it. So, hoping you can still see this. So I'm now going to, on that ring, attach this to the ring. Just make sure we've got a good knot on there. Over that way. And that should be, yeah, that's good. Let's get you further out so you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. These could have been smaller, I think. They're really lightweight though. I've got to tie. I'm hoping I've worked out how to use this properly. So these are these little metal orange tie rings. We're going to give this a go. Again, these are available on Outdoor Gear Essentials. I didn't get them from there, but you certainly can do. And if I get it right, I think you tie one onto there, one onto there. And then what you do is you just do that, put that around there. Oh yeah, I can see how that really ties it. It doesn't want to move. Oh, you can just take it off, move it up and down. Right, let's see. Let's pull it through. Let's get a strength. So let's get that tied on there. God. In fact, we're going to take it out as far as we can go. Which is what we want. I might at some point change those rings out because they are really quite heavy. That might give it some stability, but probably the wrong kind of ring, although they're really solid and won't rust. So now we've got a really long line. Right, I'm going to do that to the other side now, and you don't need to watch that either, so you won't need to watch that again. You can always rewind if you need to check that part out again. Right. I think we're there. So I'll give you a little bit of a shot behind me so you can see on the front garden. There it is. Mod's all done. And we'll kind of walk around and I'll talk you through all the mods that we've done to the Lanshan too, and how we've made it hopefully better. Let's have a look. Okay, so first of all, let's have a bit of a scoot around it, shall we? You can see how nice and tight that is. It's really taut actually. Try not to put too much pressure on. But one of the guy ropes is definitely longer than the other. Goes off into those bushes down there somewhere. But that's all right. I will probably, because of my slightly obsessive nature, have to do something about that. Yeah, so that's the ring element, which means that's always tight between those two points up there. So there is tie-up points at the top and the one there that it originally sort of connects to. So you've got a tie-up point there. So we're just using both of them. To the ring, that's not tied in place, that's just loose so that it can adjust itself. We've got the little snail line tensioners on there with I did find I have got exactly enough pegs doing it like this with the pegs that I got in my kit. Again, really nice and tight. This was part of the kit, which is the extra dyneema line, very lightweight, going off to point over there. I've tripped over it about 6 times, but again, really taut underneath. Yeah, sorry, this is the other side of it, and you can see this is a slightly shorter line, but it's fine. I quite like them being further out, so I might not actually cut the other line down. I might just leave as is. It won't. It will just keeps that tension a little bit sort of so down like that. Over the other side, it's slightly more horizontal. Obviously, it won't be horizontal. It's going to the ground, but it's less of an angle, which means it's pulling the top further, kind of directionally outwards. These are one of the other mods. So this is the shock cord loops at the bottom of the door instead of being connected to the guy line. And it does absolutely give it a kind of a lower ventilation there. It's always going to be plenty of ventilation coming under there, but it just is definitely less than it was when it was pulled kind of outwards from there across. So I think that works really well. Really happy with that actually. I'm just going to undo one of the loops, bring the zip up, and here we go with another modification down here. So down here we've added the loops, all the shock cord that came from Outdoor Gear Essentials was exactly the same length, and yeah, so they just need tying off to the bathtub and the ground sheet, and that means if you're moving about in here, it's not pulling against that peg there, which you really don't want it to be, because that would potentially mean that you pull a peg outside, which could be catastrophic in the night. Now let's do a quick climb inside. Got my selfie stick tripod. Should be really nice and quick. Here we go. All right. So making sure you can see everything as I climb inside. So we'll see how good it is inside now. We've done, the tension should make a difference with everything. It's good gap between the fly, although this can stretch in the wet, as I understand it. A lot of people don't like these sorts of ties. That doesn't bother me at all. Look at that, it's fine. Does the job. And we'll just, this is the newer model with the T-zip. Now this is more solid. It's got some mesh at the top, but it's definitely more solid. Got a few flies about, which is going to be fun because I'm going to be putting this away in a moment. They'll soon die when I've rolled it up. Because obviously those would be nice if they were bungee. But yeah, I mean it's fine. Loose thread, just hanging around inside. But it's definitely more pulled out with the tensioners of the side. It feels tight for a two-person, whereas people have said it's really good. That's worth adjusting those poles actually. Could do that there as well. Some trekking poles. I don't want too much downwards pressure on the trekking poles. They're on bungees, but that needs to be kind of taut as well. It's a funny label here for the. So it's just 3FUL gear tent. There's a label just by the zip, which has got caught. A couple times got caught in the zip. Just tiny little things that could just make it better. But pitch-wise, this is spot on. I'll be interested to see how two mats go in here. This definitely slips against the ground sheet, so it's making it even more slippy. But for one, this is going to be a absolute palace, and plenty of people camped in these with two. I'd look at what mats we're using. It might be a little bit cozy, but you have to be careful. Good to bring a bin sack with you if you're going to put your stuff outside. If you're going to put a rucksack outside, just tie it up in a bin sack or what do they call them? The bags anyway. The waterproof bags that you can get. Bin sack works fine, and it folds up nice and small. And just do that so they don't get wet, because they will get wet if they're left in there. And then you're walking back with this soaking wet backpack rucksack, whatever you want to call it. This opens up both sides. This is the T-zip, so it's got it's a little bit easier to do. But I'll show you inside in just a moment. Let's have a POV look inside, shall we? But I think that is possibly, for the first time modding, that may be the absolute perfect. This is very flat, this lawn. It's a lawn front garden, so yeah, it's going to be a bit easier. But I'd say that's about perfect. And nice and taut. Everything stays into place with those bungees on the zip. It just stays there, keeps it tight. It's the only thing I think might need shortening a little bit, just to give it that bit more tension for when that wind picks up, because I feel like that's going to give a bit. We'll keep it tight, but there just seems to be not quite enough twang on that like it could. It's not too bad. Nice and bright at least. So let's take you inside. So yeah, so not much in the way of storage, pockets, one at the end there. That's about it. We've got a couple of lantern points up high here. Again, this isn't a review, this is more about modding it. And another tie point over the other side. Mesh at the top there, obviously, so you've got some extra ventilation. This is more solid, so this is the 4-season inner. I think it works quite well. And although I'm leaning on it a bit, this is quite flat. I don't care about putting my feet in here particularly. It's fine. It's only my lawn. It's not bad. And what sort of space do we have? Well, more than the Bobcat. which is really quite small. And my feet are right down to the bottom there. And I'm 18 chins later. I'm 6'2", 6'2", and this great shot. this will be good with the for the what's it called, thumbnail. Think of it quick so you can turn the camera. Thumbnail. I have to think about that. But yeah, it's all right. And what we got for yeah, so I'm over this side. Could you fit two in here? Yes, you can. Quite comfortably. Bit of space. Lovely space to sit up in. And the mods have just made it definitely better. Couple of lantern hang points. Yeah, all right. We're good. Now, I'm going to step outside because now I'm going to put this all away. So yeah, that was kind of modding the tent. Next thing will obviously be a camp out in it. Bobcat's still going to be my go-to for when it's really windy over here, which it does get windy all the time. So that's still going to be my go-to for that sort of thing. This is going to be my lightweight, just a bit crooked, my lightweight and two-person thing. Possibly a bit of a summery one because it's a bit thinner. It's got plenty of ventilation underneath and a bit more space, but it's actually way lighter than my Bobcat. But a Bobcat is like a limpet. It's a proper rock, really ridiculously solid. And I've got some mods to do to that as well. Very simple stuff, but that will probably stand up much better to high winds than this. But it does feel really good and sturdy. Just got to watch those tying out points with the tension that's on there. There's a good stretch in this fabric, so it shouldn't be a problem. Even at that top there, it's still loads of, it's not super tight, it just looks it. And say seam sealant probably will be the next thing to do. But now I've done all the mods, that should be it. So yeah, what can I say? Get the mod kit from Outdoor Gear Essentials. Get your Lanshan too. They've got their 4 seasons and 3 seasons in. They're great for advice. They're quick to respond. I'm not sponsored at all. This is just my opinion. You kind of spot really good customer service. I've come from a pretty amazing customer service background. Like I work for Apple, so I do know what like service is meant to be, and I've worked for some other major service companies, so I know a bit about that, and I can tell you that they're clearly good. Got it really quickly. I'm on an island in the middle of the Irish Sea. I was never going to come next day, but literally I ordered it Sunday. It was sent out Monday. It came to me Wednesday. An extra day for traveling over the seas is not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. And I'm very happy with that. And I'll be buying some more stuff from them in the near future. I hope my wife doesn't watch the end of this video because she'll hear about that. But that is absolutely superb. Mods work brilliantly. Get your mods from them. So I bought the ground sheet, the better standard mod kit. So there's 2 mod kits. There's a 4 peg one and a 6 peg one. This is the 6 peg one, which has those side tie outs. Yeah, so I would ground sheet 6 peg upgrade or mod kit. I get some metal rings, which I think work really well. Get yourself a pack. They actually do those, as I say, these snail ties. These are really, they don't want to budge. For your guy ropes, guy lines. I don't think I'll use them on the side ones. I'll just use them on these 2 main ones. And I'll probably, as I say, upgrade to a couple of ground hooks, ground anchors that are like just going to hold it properly in place when it's a bit windier. So it should be even better. Although saying that, this just looks fine to me. Yeah, but they keep a lot of other stuff. Like I say, they keep the stuff that I like in. So Naldine stuff, some bush camping stuff. They've got some of the stoves, the X-Bowl stuff. What else was it I saw? The Wild Country helms, the new ones that have just come out. They've got those in stock as well, or did have, and other bits and bobs that you just kind of go think, oh, I could do with that. Ice flame bags, which might be in the future for me, for when I want to do some colder weather stuff. Yeah, awesome. I'm going to pop this video together, chuck a few edits in just to kind of cut it down a bit when I'm waffling on and trying to tie a knot for 10 minutes, that sort of thing. But it's looking really good. And now the next thing will be, obviously, when I set it up next time around, hopefully it being a heck of a lot quicker, because I'll kind of know what I'm doing. Especially now I can just chuck the bathtub and the ground sheet out together in like moments. The rest of it should come together really quickly. So we'll give that a go next time when we're actually out camping. Hopefully this video you have enjoyed, or it's been useful at least. What I'd really appreciate is if you gave the video a like, you subscribed to the channel, really helps me out, and maybe drop a comment in there, comment in the comments. Funnily enough, just let me know if this is a tent you'll be thinking about getting. Have you got one? How'd you get on with it? What mods you've done? Is there mods I'm missing? What do you think of the mods I've done to this one? Perhaps there's loads of stuff you can tell me about. I'm always reading the comments. I'm always responding, and I like to hear about other people's experiences. So yeah, and obviously next time hopefully we'll be out under the stars somewhere, or clouds potentially, and that's it. So you see a lot of my house. I don't care. Everyone knows where I live. I always say that. People go, people see a house in the video, and it's like, well, yeah, but I'm the local vicar. Everyone knows where I live. So anyway, me and the Lanshan, take care. Take care of yourselves. More importantly, take care of each other. God bless. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.